Welcome to the Titusville Report. My name is Kevin Jeffrey, your moderator, and as always, I'm joined by Titusville contributor Christopher Childs. And Chris, lots going on in Titusville as always, so we have a lot to cover. And let's go down our list, and let's start first with the school zone cameras. They are not up as far as we can see in Titusville. Do you think that the Palm Bay Police Department and the city, in their decision not to put them up in Palm Bay or to take them down in Palm Bay, and the problems they've had, has given them pause to put those up in Titusville?
I would say if government moved as fast as we would like them to, maybe. But I think part of it is just them, being a government and just not moving very fast. But I hope it does give them pause, though. I hope they do see that and say, this is the same company, same complaint. We're going to get the same complaints. Maybe we should move forward with this.
Well, and again, we go back to it. 24 states across the country have looked at this and they have banned these school zone cameras. Georgia tried to do it. They fell just short of banning them this past year. And there's a lot of reasons behind it, constitutional issues, as well as the fact that they just don't work.
Yeah. The law that they have here in Florida with school zone cameras, they put so many restrictions around how you can put them up, when you can put them up, how, and you have to do this whole notify everybody period beforehand. They knew that because they knew that it would be a problem, that they can be a problem, and they were trying to do their best to allow it, but with a lot of restrictions. And I think even with all the restrictions of notifying people that they're going to be going up, requiring that you do a study that there's so many people speeding through the zone, it's just it's still problematic. And obviously Palm Bay is seeing that firsthand, and that's here in Brevard County. And if Titusville wants to follow Palm Bay again, let's do it.
This law was just passed a couple of years ago in the state of Florida where municipalities were allowed to do this. And again, everywhere this has been, it's been bad. And a lot of the question has been about, oh, what about the safety of the children? Is that valid?
I don't think so, because there hasn't been any indication or any incidents of children being hurt or any sort of threat seen to children. And on the other hand, too, what they're arguing is let's expand the school zone time where you have to go, 20, 25 miles an hour to all day, for the whole school day.
Which I never understood about that. I mean, what's the point? I mean, if it's about the children, why do you have it going all day?
Because they're like, sometimes there's children that are outside the school during school hours, and it's just a money grab. They want to extend the time because they don't have enough. They wouldn't have enough during the 30 minutes before school starts and the 30 minutes after school starts for them to write enough tickets for it to be worth it.
And at the end of the day, Palm Bay dropped it because they had a problem with getting more magistrates, because one of the things that they did not calculate was how many people would protest this.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? And so they ended up with so many people protesting that it became cost inefficient to do it. They had to get more money to cover the magistrates.
Yeah, because the company said people they won't dispute it or whatever. So you won't have to worry about a magistrate,
If they put it
and
up,
now they're like overtime on magistrates.
Right. And so now it's cost inefficient.
Yeah.
If they put them up in Titusville, this is what I invite all of you residents of Titusville to do. Make sure that you go and contest it. And that's one of the surest way to get rid of these cameras, because it's not about the children. All they have to do is put up a vehicle there with the lights on, or there's many other things you can do. This is a complete money grab, and we've established that. Now tomorrow there's a meeting at the police department, Titusville TPD, and it's some of the people in the community. And it's to discuss the video, and there's reason to believe that the video is going to be shown. Some of the videos that have not been shown about the shooting on February 7th might be shown there, but it's also to discuss with the community some things. And it seems like Chief Lau is doing this. To me, just put the videos out. I mean, here we are. Where are we at now? August?
Yeah.
And you've just continued to just piecemeal the videos. This again,
half a year, and now you're going to let me preface the release of the videos and let me explain what happened here.
I'm sure he's going to do that again, but your lying eyes see what they see, and the video that was released that we do know of, and we here at Brevard News have asked for other body cam footage. There were several officers on site that night, and we want the body cam footage of all of those in order to be able to show the public exactly what happened, as well as we've got interviews coming up this week of people who were on the scene, and you'll get that information for yourself. What do you think about this meeting?
I think it's important, even if it's some sort of PR, some sort of trying to save face for the department. I think it's important that they do meet with the public. It should be more open than what it is. You choosing who the leaders of the public are is not what the leaders are
Right,
of
right.
the citizens. You don't get to choose who the leaders are.
And I've always found that interesting that you have leaders of the black community, but what about the white community or the Hispanic community or these other communities? I mean, it's just always seemed manipulative to me in this.
It seems like they think only one race is upset with
Correct.
what's going on.
And
I don't
honestly,
think that's true.
It seems to be insulting to me, but
Yeah.
that's coming up Monday night. We'll see what happens with that. All you really have to do, Chief Flower, is just put the video out. All of this posturing and kissing of babies and all of this stuff going into the black community, just put the video out. I mean, that will solve everything.
Pretty easy.
I mean, it's not that complicated. So then that brings us to the closing of Playa Linda. There's a report came out this week that NASA is wanting to encroach into the time frame of Playa Linda, and that they want to close Playa Linda for a few days, and it's based upon what?
I think the SpaceX Starship. I think they want to close it because of it. It's still kind of experimental, and going to launch it may cause some issues. I don't know. I don't know if they've ever had anything that's landed on the beach. I'm sure people who are watching might be able to give us some history on that. But I know that they also fought it in the 80s. People had fought to not close the beach in the 80s as well. And I've seen, that on social media, people posting, hey, we'll bring our signs from the 80s. I think they still have them. That's awesome. But, they want to fight it closing because they think it's more of like a slippery slope type deal where we close it for this, but now we'll close it for that. And because of safety.
It's a real concern, and there's a lot of people that are concerned, and there are petitions that are going around, and they want to stop this. There's a couple of meetings, one coming up Tuesday, August 26th at the Astronaut Memorial Hall of Fame, and it's to hold a public meeting about this. The FAA actually is going to conduct this meeting, and then also Thursday, August 28th at the Radisson Conference Center in Cape Canaveral. And so they're trying to get ahead of this to see if they can stop some of the concerns about this. One of the beaches that are going to be affected by this is Pier, what is that, 13?
13, yeah. The nude beach, yeah.
Yeah, the nude beach. And so there are some people, I guess those people are really concerned about this. So what do you think is going to happen? Do you think it's going to have any effect on it at all?
I really, when it comes to the federal government, they usually do whatever they want to do. They let you speak, and then they go ahead and do whatever they want to do.
Do their own. This is probably.
No, I mean, maybe some people that were at the protest in the 80s could tell us what the outcome was of that. I don't know if it was. I think they still closed it, but maybe they didn't close it as long. I'm not sure, but maybe someone could tell us what happened.
Okay, and that's happening with Playa Linda. Also, we had an ordinance come up at the city council meeting, and this was a point of contention with a lot of people on the Food Pantry Ordinance.
Yeah.
The city of Titusville wanted to look into passing an ordinance regulating food pantries, and as government does, they want to come up with another ordinance. I don't understand this, and I'm going to give the city council kudos here because many of them push back on this and say, why fight something if it's not broken? What is the point of coming up with an ordinance here?
I think they were maybe initially trying to say, we don't have this food pantry use in any of the, I'm on planning and zoning, so I know a little bit about this, but they don't have that use for any of the zones. So when a food pantry tries to open someplace, the staff tries to go through and look and see what the uses they could probably tweak it to fit what they're doing. And in some cases, they came up with a conditional use permit, so you have to apply for it. You have to pay money over $1,000. So I think they were maybe.
Chris, you know what I think about this.
I know. I mean, even in that case, there is something a little broken about this, and the fact that we don't have the food pantry use is probably part of the problem
My
too.
question is, why do you even have to have a use?
Yeah, so let's just do it.
Why-
In Texas,
why-
they don't have any zoning like stuff that we do. So,
And it's a state that prides itself in freedom.
yeah,
W-
yeah.
You just get buried in so many rules and regulations and laws. Where will this end?
I agree. I know. I don't think that you should have to apply for a food pantry applying for a CUP, which is a conditional use permit. It costs a lot. It costs money and then time to go to P&Z and then go to city council and get the approval for it. It's ridiculous. I think they should already have a use. I mean, I think they should come up with a use, and it should be pretty broad for them. And any because when they were talking about it during this last meeting, they were saying do we restrict it in residential? But they're like, look, that's where these churches are.
Right. Well, I think they said we
areas,
wanted it
and-
500 feet from a residence.
Yeah.
Well, that's where the people are.
And then they suggested too, let's just make it for churches. And it's like, so what if a food pantry isn't part of a church, then you can't open one?
What about just leaving it alone?
Well, I do think they should make it easier for them. I
Okay,
agree with that. But yeah, when they're
But can't you
suggesting
make it
doing a
easy?
one-off or the one is coming in downtown or wherever,
But can't you make it easier by leaving it alone?
I don't know, not right now because it's not
Why?
easy. It's not easy right now.
Why is it?
Because they're having to like try to figure out how to make this use where they want to have it.
If I go and I open up a food pantry,
Yeah.
what's going to happen to me?
Yeah, that's right.
If I don't go and kiss the ring of the city, what's going to happen?
They actually aren't doing anything to them. They're just trying to make it within the law, which I understand that part. Which we that's why I'm saying it's kind of weird that we didn't have that use already anywhere in the code.
So they are doing up a draft, staff is, and they're going to come back and they're going to report to the city council
Yeah.
about their draft proposal. Chris, this doesn't sound good to me. I see nothing good coming from this. I just believe rules and regulation, we have way too many of them. Just leave it alone.
Yeah, we'll
Just
see.
leave it alone. And just, I don't think that you all of these regulations are necessary, but that's my opinion.
Well, maybe we need the ordinance that does away with it then.
Yes,
So-
okay,
so
I'll be
that's
for
the way
that.
it's- All right.
And here's one of the things is that for every ordinance you come up with, I think that you should get rid of 10 of them.
There you go.
How about that?
Yep, sounds
I
familiar.
mean, that'll make this a more free place to operate. And these ordinances are just heavy-handed government is what it is. Now, there was an incident that took place on August 1st, and it was really interesting. You had all of these cops that came, and you thought that it was a mass shooting or something,
Yeah,
right?
let's see. So
And it was
we have 4 officers, 1 corporal, 1 lieutenant, 1 PIO, public information officer, 1 police chief. For what? Was it an active
Man, I
shooter?
thought-
Was it bank robbery?
when you look at the pictures, you think that there was something massive that happened.
It looked like there was. I mean, they had City Hall locked down. So what do you have a guy outside with a gun? Actually, it was a guy with caution tape.
And what was
caution
on that
tape.
caution tape?
And it was caution tape, and then it was a Constitution free zone sign. And I kind of think he made his point pretty clear. I think they helped him make his point pretty
Well,
clear.
he said that as he was walking off.
Yeah.
Sir, you cannot. You just proved the sign right.
And you guys have made my point.
Yes.
This is a constitutional problem. You have a problem with people exercising their constitutional rights. Now, on the videos that we saw, thanks to your courtesy that you got for Brevard News, from the city, through public records, they were sitting there going down through all of the things they could charge this guy with.
Yeah.
That's what struck me about the video.
They ended up giving him a trespass. Yeah.
But they went down through a litany of things thinking about what they could charge him with.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking,
Littering.
is this what we've gotten to in the American public? Where
Yeah.
you look for some way to criminalize the American citizens?
So he had put caution tape up on the trees along US 1 there in front of City Hall, and he actually did it about 7 foot above the ground. So he was like,
Anybody could walk
so
down
anyone
there.
could walk through. And like he said on our show, he said, one of the officers said, well, what if you have someone who's over 7 foot, 8 foot person comes through? And I watched the video. He did say that. I thought, there's no way this guy said, there's no way the officer said that. So I watched it and I was like, He actually said that. I don't know. He looked a little amped up too. He was very amped up the whole time. It looked like he was
Someone protesting
ready.
about constitutional rights.
It's crazy. I can't believe there was that kind of police response. But they cannot have that many officers go patrol the school zones though.
Right.
But
right.
if you have a protester, we got to send a whole department.
Well, they even had the propaganda officer out there, which
Yes.
was
Yeah.
interesting. What was she doing there?
She's trying to do damage control. She already knows that there's going to be a problem. She knows. She's like, no, I know there's going to be a problem. There's, all these police out here. I better start earning my paycheck.
Now, one of the things that was discovered during the videos, the body cam videos, was that someone had suggested that Brevard News had sent this fella out there.
It's brevardNEWS' story last night. They did a story on are we infringing on rights and selective law. That's exactly why he's here.
Major
do
Wright had
this.
kept asking one of the other officers to ask, Andy House why he was out there. Did someone tell you to come out here? Did someone tell you to come out here? And then they saw the post on Facebook from some random person that was on the sidewalk across the street and showed that he was here, and he's like, oh, so it's not up on Facebook already. And Major Wright had said to one of the other officers that, the officer said, well, he's talking about that we were arresting someone for a social media post or something. And
Which
Major
they have
Wright,
done that.
yes, and Major Wright said, oh, it's brevardNEWS. They did a video. And so did we inspire it? Maybe. Did we ask him to do it? Absolutely not. We didn't even know the guy. I don't even know who he is until that happened.
Never heard of the guy, and it's just really interesting. But what's interesting is the fact is that they came up. They told him to do certain things, and when he did those things, then they actually fined him for doing it.
Yeah, he was actually when they first got there, he was already wrapping up the caution tape. He was already taking it down. Mm-hmm. He was taking it down. He had put his sign down because he was putting the caution tape away. He was already being compliant before they even asked him. Then they were like, take it down. And he's like, what's it look like I'm like, what do you think I'm doing here? And they're like, we'll help you. And then one of the lieutenants had showed up, and he started ripping it down. The police chief went through, and I guess he's now ground maintenance, and he started going through and taking the tape from the other side. I guess he wasn't going fast enough. I don't know what law that is, that if you're not going fast enough.
Well, I don't know. You have to go through your checklist and come up with whatever law it is that we can charge him.
Let's see what it is.
I find that crazy.
He had the heat exhaustion, and one of the officers, Officer Taylor, asked him if he wanted to sit down. Very nice of him to do that. Gave him some water. Asked him to sit down. He sat down, and then they're like, you're interfering with business at the city hall, so you're trespassed.
This reminds me of the Andy Griffin show with Barney Fife.
Yeah.
That's what this seems like.
They did look like they had bullets maybe up here in their pocket. I don't know.
It seems crazy.
But,
what are we doing here?
It looked like a circus to me. I don't know why you're spending our resources for one guy who was cleaning it up as they came. Like, why didn't they come out when he was first out there? He didn't put up that caution tape in 5 minutes.
Right.
Why didn't you come out when he first started and was out there holding the sign? Why not then? Why did you come when he's cleaning it up? I don't understand. I really don't.
I have not seen anything like it. It boggles my mind. The airplane crash here in Titusville, there was a student and another passenger that was, it looked like they were injured, but they made it out. I mean, that's not happened here in Titusville since the air show back some years ago, where there was a airplane crash and the fellow was killed out there at the air show.
Yeah.
And
It's sad. I don't think anyone passed away from it. I think there was one serious injury and some other injuries as well. I think it was a student and an instructor that went down. But I don't know that they've released any more information besides that. But yeah, it was right by the
TICO Regional Airport.
So went down right near there. So I guess maybe they were coming in from there. I live just north of there, and I see small planes like that all the time. Take off and then come back.
A lot of traffic at that TICO Airport. A lot of traffic comes over our home. Last but not least, we want to talk about the email subpoenas. and it looks like that they may get new life. Looks like the judge in this case, of the Vickie Conklin case, is revisiting this. And so there's some question as to whether he is going to reconsider whether to be able to allow some of these emails to be put into the hands of Conklin's attorney.
I would think that it's just like any other time that, say, you get arrested by the police and you have to get the body cam footage or anything else they have that's about the incident. Even though I think that what the judge said was that they're not a party to the action, to the criminal, complaint.
They weren't a party to it, but they are possessing evidence to it.
I think that's what their argument, I think that's what Conklin's argument is with it, is that it's evidence pertaining to the criminal act. And they do deserve to have those emails, even if it is tailored down, which I don't think it should be. But it's people talking about it. I think it's very relevant when they're talking about maybe conspiring to try to goat her into, just like free speech. We have free speech, right?
Right.
But you can't say something that will actually have someone want to hit you right away and send you a speech. You can't just say something and I call you something that would make anyone else want to react to it. So that's what they did to her. They did a sign that made her react.
Well, and in those signs, if you look at those signs, and we have pictures of those signs on Brevard News, at some point we'll post those. Those were deceptive signs because it made it look like that they were a Democratic candidate. You could not see the name of who owned the signs, except for little small white letters in the right top corner that said Andrew Connors. And if you were doing that at night, or you couldn't see them, they were really made deceptively for that reason.
They did not follow the state statute for being clear indication of who paid for the sign. Any political sign has to have a clear, readable, legible text that says who paid for the sign. It was not clear. It was not legible. It was faded out, small, almost very tiny. You couldn't read this. So you think that it's just a sign that's been abandoned there.
Right.
So you're just.
And then it's Johnny on the spot. Then the Titusville police comes and investigates.
I think a homicide detective. I think.
You can't
Another,
make it up.
I know.
And then the next morning, Johnny on the spot. Then they indict her.
Yeah.
Right. And it's
bizarre.
It is bizarre. Vickie Conklin's attorney, Scott Robinson, released this statement to Brevard News on Friday. And he said this: after Titusville police publicized charges against Titusville mayoral candidate Vickie Conklin just before the election, they are now blocking her from accessing evidence necessary for her defense. At the same time, they are invoicing Ms. Conklin nearly $4,000 for redacted copies of these documents. In the process, they are demonstrating a willingness to spend excessive taxpayer money, which they have no problem doing, to keep essential records hidden. The significant amount of time, effort, and funds the city is dedicating to withholding unredacted evidence suggests that there may be crucial information within these records relevant to Mrs. Conklin's defense. And, well, you could assume that, right?
Yep.
From my experience, he continues, as both a prosecutor and defense attorney, no one should have to pay thousands of dollars to get evidence from the police. When such extensive taxpayer funds are used to hide routine documents, it raises serious concerns about what they might be trying to conceal from the public. You agree with that?
Yeah, they're public records. So even if they're not evidence in some case, they are a public record. We've already paid. You and me have already paid with our taxes to have these, the email servers paid for. The people who are writing these emails, we pay for their salaries that while they're writing these emails. And so we've already paid for these. There shouldn't be that much redaction. Most of it should be like, yep, good. You have to do that 17,700 times, I guess. But I don't know why they wanted to spend way more money on lawyers to fight it than just comply with it, get it done with, show people that you're for transparency, which they have done videos on their website and on their social media, how transparent they are. You know, when someone's telling you how transparent they are not being transparent with you.
If you
Like when
have to
someone
say
says,
it.
I'm telling you the truth.
That's like me telling my wife, I am now loving you, let me
Yeah.
kiss you, right? If you have to say it, you're not doing it.
Bill Clinton looked at everyone in the face on national television and told us
Right,
that he
right.
didn't do something, and he did.
Yeah, so what do you think is going to be the outcome of this? I think there's a hearing, I think September maybe. Do you think that they're going to actually ever get this evidence?
I don't know. She might end up having to pay for it because I don't know if, if the judge listened to most of this stuff before, if he's going to change his mind. I think they're coming at it with a slightly different angle this time, of more of that they're trying to hide something, because it's public record. Maybe they'll get a little further. Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe it's on a different case law that they're going to get it argued under. I'm not sure. I hope they get the emails
This
released.
should be open and shut though, because these are public records. Again, the emails are public. No employee of the city has a right to presume that their emails are going to be private. So I don't understand why the judge ruled what he did in the first place. Okay, you want to say that they're not a party to it. The issue is the evidence.
They're
right?
saying there's a cost to it. That's what the city's saying, even though they paid for the lawyers to fight it.
Yeah, if they'd have spent the money that they spent on the lawyers to pay for the cost of the
It would
emails,
have
it
been
wouldn't be a
less.
problem.
It would have been way less to just do the redactions with staff. Yeah.
You remember Lurch off of the Addams Family? That's all we have to say about that. And that's it for the Titusville Report for this week. Thank you for joining us. My name is Kevin Jeffrey, your moderator, along with Christopher Childs, your Titusville correspondent. We'll see you again next week.